Hello, beautiful Sunday to you. It is April 2021. Give it up for 2021. What are you grateful for today in your life? What is going really well? It can be so easy to focus on what's not working and why, and make it mean all kinds of bad, mean things about you. But I'd like to invite you to join me in thinking about what it is that you're really grateful for, what's going well in your life, even if it's something obvious and simple, like you have a roof over your head, you have internet, you're here now. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Miss Yara. Hi, Taz girl. So today is day 19 of my 30-day live challenge. And what I want to talk to you ladies today is about what happens. Hello, yes, on air. I want to talk to you about what happens when your dating decisions are primarily made from your feelings and sexual chemistry. And the short answer, it is not good. Hi, Taz girl. Oh my God, you're cancer free. Yay. Let's give some love to Taz girl. Congratulations for doing the healing work to get yourself to this place. I can only imagine it was an incredible amount of work. And I've met a few women who have overcome cancer, and it's a really, really big spiritual journey. What to do instead if you've been primarily guided by your emotions, by the feelings of being in love, and by your sexual chemistry with somebody in your dating life. You probably have plenty of experiences that tell you that did not work so very well. Hello, Urban Shamanic Coaching. That is my incredible best friend and mentor. If you don't know about her, oh my gosh, she has incredible stuff to share with you. So I'm going to share about something different, a different way of dating that's going to get you much better results. So if that's you, stick around. So let me give you some examples of why making decisions in your dating life from a place of feelings or sexual chemistry doesn't work. And that's what I used to do pretty much my entire adult life until I totally gave up on love, because I was married, and then that didn't work out. That's a story for another time. And then I immediately got into another relationship because I didn't want to be by myself. I was scared of being single. So first of all, that's not a great place to be coming from, but I had really incredible sexual chemistry with this guy. So I thought, oh, he must be the one. And he pays attention to me, and he likes me, and he's putting effort into connecting with me. So that must mean that he's the right person for me, right? If you've had that kind of thinking in your head when you had sexual chemistry with somebody, or when somebody gave you a lot of attention and love, maybe they love bombed you, or they just called you a lot, texted you a lot, and wanted to see you, did you make that mean that that guy was the one for you? Did you make it mean that maybe he could be your husband, that you could marry him? Well, let me tell you, that is not really the case, because what happens is that sexual chemistry, it goes up and down, and it goes through a whole journey throughout a relationship. And if you have nothing else to stand on other than that sexual chemistry, then things are going to go south pretty badly. So I dated this guy for a whole year, and he actually ended up being a narcissist. So I kept thinking, well, he likes me, and we have amazing sex and all of that. So what ended up happening is that I found myself in a situation in which we were naked laying in bed. We had just had sex, and I was extremely disappointed because I did not have an orgasm. And when I confronted him about it, he said, "You're responsible for your orgasms." And I thought, what the heck? Oh my goodness gracious, how did such an incredible catch like myself end up in such a situation? And if I look back, I realize, well, yeah, I mean, I was allowing my feelings for this person, my sexual chemistry with this person, to make it mean that this was the right person for me. And I wasn't looking at hardly anything else. Oh, and he was financially stable. And that was a really, really important thing for me, because growing up, financial stability was really lacking. And so that was a really important thing that I was always looking for in men. And when I had that, I would overlook everything else. So I have another story. This is from a client. Taz girl. I know, right? It's a terrible thing to say. And so I have worked with another client who absolutely did not want children. Like, she was clear about that. Then she started dating somebody and she fell in love. And this guy really, really wanted kids. So I actually ended up with working with both of them. And what I found was that they were both going off of their decision to get married because they were in love and they were not looking at anything else. Now, being in love is made up of feelings, isn't it? Those are feelings. So they fell in love. They decided, oh, we're in love. That must mean we should get married, right? I totally made that mistake in my late 20s. I married somebody because I was in love, even though I knew he was not the right person for me. And he knew I wasn't the right person for him either, but we did it anyway because we were attached and did not want to be single. Bad news. So this client that I had who got married because she was in love, he knew that she did not want children, but he thought in his head, we're in love, so I'm sure I'm going to be able to convince her. Guess what happened? I bet you can guess. Indigo girl, electroliquid. Yeah, I'm sure you can guess, Steph. What happened was they had not one, but 2 children. And I asked her, oh my goddess of light, why in the heavens did you decide to have 2 children with somebody, even though you still don't want to have children? She still didn't want to have children. And her answer was because she was in love. So she was in love, she had feelings, but she knew she didn't want kids. So here are the repercussions. Here are how these children suffered. That woman worked, oh my God, it's like a maniac. She had a business and she was always at work unless she was going to sleep, and then she would go home. So then what happened is the responsibility of the children landed on the man, and then he was super resentful and frustrated about her always being away and never helping enough with the children. And when I talked to her, she confessed to me that she loved her children, but she never really wanted kids. And unfortunately, unfortunately for whatever it is, she now has to live with the consequences of completely going against her values of being child-free for the rest of her life. So it's not a good thing to only be guided by feelings of love. 7 years ago, when my husband and I fell in love, and we were dear, dear friends already for a couple of years, because I had already learned to not only be guided by feelings and sexual chemistry, I was able to say to him, hey, we're in love and this is great, but if you still don't want to have children, then I think we need to break up, and I don't think this is going to work. And I'm sure you'll find somebody amazing who does, and I'll find somebody amazing who does, and he will find somebody amazing who doesn't. So a few days later, he got back to me and said, all right, sounds great. I'll get you pregnant at some point. And I could have never, ever stood up for myself. I could have never been able to tell the difference between my emotions of being in love and the fact that I wanted children, right? In the past, before I got clear of the difference between my values and standards and my preferences and deal breakers, I would have been like, oh, we're in love, let's get married, right? And it would have been a complicated thing. However, fast forward 6 years, I actually decided that I didn't want children after all. So I had to have a little conversation with him and risk losing the relationship, all because I know the difference between the feelings, the sexual chemistry, right, and the standards and the values. Now, this is really important to differentiate because you can compromise and be flexible on your preferences, but you should never, ever compromise on your values, and you should never, ever put up with deal breakers, which are also called red flags. Now, if you don't know the difference between those things, can you see how you're going to mix them up, and you're not going to know, what to be a yes for. You're not going to know what to say no to, because you're going to have to go by feelings, and those are not really the most reliable source of guidance, right? So because I do know the difference, I was able to so-called risk the relationship, and we got on the same page. We're not having kids in this lifetime. So we're really clear about that. And that kind of honesty you cannot do if you're attached, if you're afraid of being single or alone, or if you're afraid that you're not going to find somebody better or someone else to love you. So you have to work through those fears and insecurities so that you do not settle. Because when you have those fears and insecurities, you're absolutely going to settle. Thanks, Taz girl. So, and that takes a little work, it takes a little time, and you can absolutely do it by yourself, but it does take a lot longer if you try to do this work on your own. If you want to go much faster, if you want to shortcut the process that maybe on your own it would take 5 years, if you want to do it in 6 months, my best advice to you is to work with a coach, a love coach who has been there, who has made all the mistakes and who has learned from them and can give you the shortcut to where you want to get to. And that would be me. I made all those mistakes and now I'm here and I figured it out. I pretty much know the ins and outs of how to attract love. And I also know the ins and outs of exactly what to do to repel love. And I know the difference. So I urge you that if you are ready for soulmate love, it's really important that you do whatever it takes and that you make it your top priority to learn the difference. Now, here's what goes wrong when women try to do this on their own. When I ask women, hey, what are you looking for in a soulmate relationship and what are your deal breakers? They're like, most of the time, they're like, I don't actually know. I never thought about that. And I thought, well, yeah, you're not going to get what you really want if you don't know what you want, because you're just going to take what comes to you. And when you take what comes to you, you are not in charge of your results. The randomness of life is, and that just doesn't work. Unless, of course, you're dating for fun and pleasure and sex, which is great because you don't need to ask a lot of questions for that. There's plenty of people who just want to play and they don't need to be looking at all those long-term goal things, right? So give me some love in the chat wherever you are. Hello, Kiara. Hello, Molly, Julianne. Beautiful to see you all. If you have any questions about what I'm talking to you about, you can put it in the chat or you can send me a private message. If you have a question, I will be happy to answer it later for you. So the thing to be guided by, as I mentioned, instead of your emotions, instead of your sexual chemistry, are your values. You need to get clear on your values. Now, here's what, hi, Sonia, welcome back. Here's what goes wrong when the women that say, oh, yes, I know what I want. And I say, great, tell me what you want. And they're like, oh, here is my long list of 85 or 100 or 200 things that I want in a relationship. And I'm thinking, oh, I know the mistake that they're making is they're clumping all together in that long ass list their values, their standards, their preferences, their could be nice kind of things. And when they're all mixed up together, it's really hard to find somebody who has all of those 85 or 200 things. Because what's going to happen is that when you meet somebody, you're going to be like, oh, this person has half of those things. Well, nobody's perfect, right? Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm demanding too much. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. And that's when the settling starts to happen. So in my GPS to Soulmate Love method, that I've come out with and that I taught an online course on today live, what I taught my amazing group of ladies in there is that you must be able to separate those things and you must be as concise as possible. So what I tell women is you need your top 5 most important things that you must have in a soulmate relationship, rain or shine, and you need to get clear of your deal breakers. And on top of that, there's a third step that's really crucial and you cannot miss this step. You have to then refine and you have to connect the dots and you have to test that list, that list of values, of 5 most important values in a relationship and the deal breakers. And there's a very specific process that I have to help women get really clear about that. When you're not clear about that, your love life will not work. It just will not work. So if you're looking for soulmate love, this is the first thing that I recommend that you do. And I am going to be teaching this again live to a group of women on June 13th and May 18th, I'll post it later. But if you're interested in attending that, please send me a private message. I would love to have you there and blow your mind away with this process. What I have been hearing from the ladies when they get clear about that is, oh my God, I can't believe it. Now I understand. They tell me why all of my relationships from the past did not work. Oh my goodness gracious. And now I see what I need to do for my relationships, my next relationship to work. So it's a very powerful, life-changing awareness that you need to have in your love life as the first next right step if you're looking for soulmate love, because you can have what you want in your love life. You do not need to settle. The only reason why you've been settling is because you just haven't known about this process, and the reason why you didn't know about it is because nobody talks to us. Nobody teaches us about how romantic love works, and most of us just have to guess at it and spend a lot of years in trial and error, making all the mistakes. And some women don't even ever get the extraordinary love that you're looking for. So I don't want you to be one of those women that misses out on the love that you really, really want, because you're an amazing catch. You're an amazing, beautiful woman with a beautiful, good heart, and you absolutely deserve the love that you dream of in your beautiful heart. So that is my message to you. Thank you so much, Taz Girl. Thank you so much, Urban Shamanic Coaching, and all you beautiful ladies for joining me here. It's only day 19. I'm going to day 30, and my sense, I'm going to extend that. So I'm so happy to be with you. I'd love to hear anything that's useful and anything that I share in these live videos that really is helpful for me. So I'm sending you so much love from my heart straight to your heart. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. You're all so, so sweet. So sweet. Thank you for tuning in.